Good evening, everyone. We thank you so much for joining us for our first episode of Cocktails and Conversations of 2021. My name is Alexis Moore. I'm the principal vibe creator of Hosted. I'm so excited to be able to have a very, very special guest this evening. Beginning of the year, we always think about vision planning. We're really reflective over the previous year, and some of us may have already had the opportunity to build your vision boards. And if you are like me, you have not had the opportunity to build your vision board because 2021 just kind of came in like a storm. And we thought that it would be helpful for folks that maybe have not had the chance to set their vision this year, or that have set your vision but wanted to be able to have a little bit more of a guided focus this year. Definitely tried a lot of us on a number of different fronts. And, it would be a missed opportunity if we didn't be able to take the lessons that were learned from 2021 and to be able to really incorporate it into how our forward-looking approach is for 2021. And so I am super excited to be able to have my first guest for Cocktails and Conversation, Miss Lauren James. Lauren was one of the first supporters of Hosted. And for those of you that may be entrepreneurs, getting started can always be a challenge. And sometimes we can get stuck in our own heads. And I had the benefit of having Lauren as an informal coach to be able to help get over those hurdles and to really set the vision and stick to my plan. And so I couldn't think of anybody better to help facilitate this conversation. So I'd like to welcome Lauren James, who is a certified executive coach, as well as owner of She Owns Her Day. Lauren, welcome.
Thank you, Alexis. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me to speak and talk about vision planning on your platform. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. We're so glad to have you. And before we, like any other Cocktails and Conversation, we know it's the end of a very long day for most. Sometimes we've kind of had to forego happy hour because of social distancing and things of that nature. So we like to bring the drinks and the drink recipes to you. So Lauren, I know you have a cocktail that you wanted to share with us today.
I do. So I'm pulling up the ingredients, but I will show you this lovely blue cocktail. And in the spirit of vision setting and intention planning, this is the Visionary.
Oh,
yeah.
Love that.
And so I took some notes with the ingredients. There are 2 ounces of vodka,
okay,
3/4 ounce of Blue Curacao, a 1/2 ounce of sour mix, and 1/2 ounce of pineapple juice. And I will say it's really tasty. So if so if you're interested in exploring a new cocktail, I would recommend the Visionary.
Then the Legendary will be another drink that you'll
after you achieve those goals, you'll be legendary for sure.
I know that's right. Well, thank you so much for the Visionary. We will definitely have to try that. And we encourage you to enjoy your drink throughout our conversation today. Can you tell us a little bit about She Owns Her Day?
Sure. So it was a journey to get to She Owns Her Day. In the spirit of vision planning, I will say that I've had the goal of becoming a certified coach for nearly 10 years prior to actually getting my coaching certification. That was the goal. And so I achieved that in 2019 and officially launched my coaching business in 2020 in the midst of the COVID pandemic. And so it was a really exciting time because everything was coming to fruition. I was working with a lot of different clients who had different areas of focus that they were working on. And what I found myself gravitating towards, who I found myself gravitating towards was the millennial woman who was intentional about setting goals and working towards those goals. And so I wanted to hone in on that even more, later into 2020. And so that was the birth of She Owns Her Day. And She Owns Her Day is for the woman who is a boss, right? So she is serious about setting goals, owning her day, creating the life that she ultimately wants to live. And so, as a component of She Owns Her Day, yes, if you are interested in coaching, having an accountability partner who makes sure that you stay on track towards your goals, we're here for that. But we're also here to provide motivation. A lot of times as you're working towards your goals, it's easy to get off track. It's easy to get discouraged. And we're here to say that you have what it takes to create the life that you want to live, and you have the power to own your day each and every day. So I'm very excited for what's to come in this new chapter.
I am excited for you, and that is incredibly awesome. One, I heard you say that this has been kind of 10 years in the making, right? And then in 2020, a year that was incredibly chaotic, you saw your vision come to life. But that wasn't by accident, right? It was by setting a vision. So can you tell us a little bit about the importance of vision planning and intention setting, and share your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they're critical. So in my mind, vision planning is your guiding light. It's your compass. It sets the direction for where you want to go. And it starts with the end in mind. How do you ultimately want your life, your career to look? How do you want it to feel? How do you want to feel as you live your life and operate within your career or as an entrepreneur? And then once you have that vision, then you can start to focus in on intention setting. What steps will you take to get there? Who do you need to involve to make sure that you're staying on track? Are there other resources, people, networks that can empower you along the way? And then what target dates and time frames do you need to set to make sure that you gain momentum and maintain that momentum along the way? So I kind of see vision planning and intention setting as building blocks, with vision planning being the foundation and then intention setting following shortly after that. Having a clear understanding of um, where your strengths lie and how you ultimately want to feel as you're creating your vision. Do you want to feel powerful? Do you want to feel influential, significant? Do you want to feel like you are contributing to society? And once you have a clear idea of how you want to feel, asking yourself, what steps do I need to take to generate that feeling from within me, so that it's very intrinsically focused and driven. So I would start there. And then if you can identify what your personal goal, what your personal values are, the things that drive you, kind of getting back to what I said before, I think all of those things are important. And from there, you can ask yourself how your values, your strengths can help to solve a problem. So if it's to help other people, you can take all of that information and identify opportunities, roles, jobs that will allow you to do those things most effectively.
I think it's interesting that you brought in thinking about your values when you're thinking about your vision planning. I think a lot of times we probably go to, or I'll speak for myself, we kind of go to the more tangible things, the more outcomes of things. I want that job. I want that car. I want to see myself in this particular role. And then we kind of lose sight of, let's say we achieved everything on our vision board. Did it contribute to our value system? Was it grounded in our value system? I think a lot of times we tend to just think about the outcomes and the material things, that we may neglect the value of vision when it comes to connecting things into our morals, our values, to make sure that we are progressing in that way. Would you agree that maybe some folks might miss that opportunity in vision planning?
Absolutely. And I think that it is a symptom of our culture, achieving for achieving's sake, for achievement's sake. But it's important to tie everything that we do back to our values, because life happens, right? 2020 was um, a wildly unexpected year, and that's how life works. It's easy to get thrown off by things that happen, by external factors, and the thing that's going to help us maintain momentum is our why. So why are we doing the things that we do? It's not just about the what, because when challenges come, sometimes that why is going to be the only thing that gets you through. So what impact are you making? What impact do you want to make? Anchoring your vision in that is critical for sustainability.
I encourage folks as they think about their vision planning that they think about that. They think about those things that have kind of been tugging at their heart that they may not have thought about, kind of creating some structure around or investigating a little bit more. And, maybe you don't know what that vision is for, but maybe your vision plan, maybe your goal or your strategy is to dedicate some time throughout the year to investigate that. Like, that to me is being intentional. That to me is a part of your vision plan. Because I just think with all of the chaos that's going on at this time in this world, there's a purpose for everybody to show up in some form or fashion. And we just have to really be mindful that we are not letting our days just carry us through, but that we are thinking about thinking about our why, thinking about why we are where we are when we are where we are, and creating some strategy around that, creating some intentionality around it. I think it's just incredibly important that we lean into being more insightful.
Yeah, 100%. And you mentioned even if you don't know your why yet, that was my journey for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing that there was more for me, but not knowing what that more was, right? And just exploring, researching, self-discovery, even that is an act of progress
Yeah.
and intentionality. And so for those of you who may not be as clear on your why, if you're exploring that, if you are asking yourself questions around what is important to me, what drives me, what brings me fulfillment, that is an act of intentionality as well. This is a journey. It is not um, an automatic generation of execution towards your goals. It is a process. And so
Again.
regardless of where you are in that process, if you're in the beginning phases and trying to identify your why, congratulations, you are on the journey. And that's a huge step in the right direction. So don't be discouraged if you don't know your why. If you're pursuing that, you're heading in the right direction.
Lauren, you just said something that I think is profound as we think about vision boards. A lot of times we really put a lot of emphasis on the tangible things that represent a feeling, ultimately a feeling of what we want, when it comes to vision planning. But you shared something with me that I think is so profound and it shows kind of the maturation of vision board planning. So you shared about your vision board this year. Can you tell me a little bit about what was on it and, like how it's different than probably most vision boards?
Yeah, so my vision board for 2020 didn't have anything tangible on it. It was geared more so towards personal development and how I wanted to feel. So there were things on there around confidence and feeling like a boss and creating my own rules and um, it was very focused on how I wanted to feel as a person, who Lauren wanted to be, um, separate and apart from any action or achievement that I was going to focus on in 2020. And I can say that 2020 was the year of self-development for me. There was so much um, that I focused on that was very intrinsically driven. And I think it all stemmed from my vision planning for 2020 for sure.
I think that's so profound. I think that that's the when you talk about the planning with the end in mind, planning with the feeling and the well-being, when we disassociate those tangible things, or we just go a little bit deeper. What do those tangible things? What are we looking to achieve out of that? You know, is it feeling like a boss? Okay, well that can be disassociated from the tangible thing, or is it feeling more fulfilled, more empowered, and things of that nature? I think that that is such a mature way to look at the vision board, and I think and it's a journey, right? It's a journey. You start with identifying pictures or images that represent what we want to feel, and then we just take that time to really investigate what what is it about that item, what is it about that thing that I that resonates with me, and then how do I build around that feeling versus around that thing, um, which is so much
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we've been so conditioned to achieve and to do. And I truly believe that life is the summation, not of the things that we do, but how those things make us feel. And that's a different area of focus because it's not dependent on what we do, how much we achieve, our networks or anything like that. It brings the ownership, the owns back on us, right? To say, this is how I want to feel. This is the quality of life that I want to have. And that's on me. It's not on anyone else. So I'm Lauren and you're Alexis, and my personal well-being is not dependent on you or anyone else. I have to generate that within myself for myself. And so that is a personal awareness around, how do I want to feel? What can I do to generate that feeling within myself? And there's power in that. And I think that as we think about vision planning, always bringing it back to center to say, uh, how do I want to feel after doing these things that I do, is what brings personal satisfaction and a high quality of life. It's critical.
so true and so necessary. And I think that's just so necessary for us to kind of evolve and think that way when we think about vision planning, because it's so critical, and it's so critical to our level of perseverance, our level of self-awareness, and the fact that we have this critical role in our own well-being. And I think if you can really think about um, how these feelings attribute to your overall that bigger picture that you're talking about, it makes it easier to be really intentional. And I think that that is, that's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate outcome, that we want to achieve when we're thinking about intention setting and first vision planning, and then setting the intention so that we can meet that overall vision that we have for ourselves. That's not just grounded in things, but that's grounded in our values, our feelings, our well-being, because that's what's ultimately most important.
Yeah, and I loved what you said. Like, it also uh generates perseverance, right? Because life happens. External factors come at us every day, weigh us down every day. And so if we can root ourselves in that confidence of knowing what we are working towards and why we're working towards it, you know, if it is for our self-care, if it's for our communities, if it is for the advancement of our people, whatever it is, when our personal energy dies, that why is what's going to keep us pushing forward, no matter what, because it is that reminder that my community needs me. I have a gift, I have skills, I have talents that the world needs right now. And even if I'm tired, even if I'm not feeling motivated, even if I'm a little afraid to push beyond my comfort zone to share this, I'll do it anyway, because this is bigger than me. This is for the collective. And I think if we can draw it back to the collective, there's nothing that we can't do.
Is vision planning and intention setting so important in the current climate, the current environment? Share with us a little bit about your thoughts of why it's so important.
Yeah, I think it's critical right now. With COVID, so many of us are working from home. There is an increased demand in workload. We are all under stress and trying to keep ourselves healthy and those around us safe. And then you stack that with the social and political unrest that's happening in our country. It's easy to get distracted from our personal goals that we've set for ourselves. And so I think that by being intentional and creating visions, that is an act of self-care, because we are working towards creating the lives that we ultimately want to live. And I would take that a step further to say that it's an act of resistance, you know, by creating the lives that we want to live, by living up to our fullest potential, and bringing people along that journey with us. We're creating communities, and that in turn generates this collective power that is an uprising within our communities. And so I would just offer that when you feel overwhelmed by external factors that are constantly coming at you and weighing you down, remember that vision planning is an act of self-care, but it's also a response. It is an act of resistance, for sure.
That is so incredible. And a powerful characterization of vision planning. I think a lot of times we think about the outcomes of the material things, or things that are associated with careers and things of that nature. But it goes back to your earlier point that vision planning should be grounded in your personal well-being. It should be grounded kind of in that end mind state, and that fact that it is an act of self-care. It's keeping you laser focused on the goal, so that things that are external, there are things that are sent to distract and misattract us, and that they can be all overwhelming. And then to then take it a step further and to say that it's an act of resistance, I think is an incredible characterization of how you can use vision planning within communities to be able to affect change, or even just help reduce the effect of the outside noise in a time where society's opinions or society's characterizations of us can kind of erode or try to attempt to erode that community. And to be able to just lean in on one another, motivate one another, hold each other accountable. I think that's something that I will say that it was eye-opening for me when you shared that, because I don't know if I've ever characterized it both ways.
Yeah, I just think with everything coming at us right now, it's easy to self-isolate and forget that there are people out there who who are having the same experience that we are. And so being able to as opposed to self-isolating, lean into that more, and to be able to encourage each other and support one another as we're working towards our personal goals and visions. That's a collective power that is so important for us to tap into right now. And I think that if we can do that, there's nothing that we cannot do. It's critical for sure.
I think it's so important, so powerful to say that in a time where we're promoting isolation physically, that we be reminded of the collective power, the collective nature, the power when we do come together, encourage each other, motivate each other, keep each other accountable. Because, like you said earlier, your personal vision may be personal to you, but it may have such a broad impact. Your vision may be for a broader community, not just for your own personal gain or accomplishment. And if we get distracted by the current climate or environment, then that vision is muffled, and who knows who needed to benefit from you pursuing that vision that was given to you. So I think as we plan our vision boards, I think we take a little extra time to think about how we can lean into our communities, our tribes, not just to hold us accountable, but to know that there's a collective power and a collective benefit associated.
Absolutely. Vision has been given to you for a reason. I truly believe that we each as individuals have something to offer. We have wisdom, we have talents, we have all of these things that the world needs. And so it's easy to lose sight of that sometimes. But if you can just remember that in the back of your mind as a driving factor, that you have something that the world needs, and it's our responsibility to share that, regardless of how scary it may be. It's on us to share that with the world.
So with the big goal of ours to share that passion work with the world, your role as a coach, and if I may even say an empowerment coach, how can folks leverage your services in helping them accomplish their vision plans? Can they?
As a coach, I can say that I would definitely be able to help in that area. If you are trying to carve out your vision, if you need help with setting your intentions, action planning as you work towards those goals, a coach can definitely help you hone in on those things. Coaches are also here to provide or help out and hold you accountable towards those goals. Sometimes it can be difficult to nail down exactly what you need to do, timelines and things like that. So yes, coaches offer a great benefit in vision planning and intention setting for sure. So if you're interested in that, you can reach me through lrjamescoaching.com. I have an online tool where you can schedule a free consultation so that we can learn more about each other. I can get a sense of what goals you have, what you're working towards, and figure out if we're a good fit. And from there, we can enter into a partnership together and help you own your day, own your week, own your life. So absolutely.